back, everybody. It's time for the most listened to radio program on Earth, or you tuned into the most listened to radio program on Earth, the Sir Darryl Radio Experience. You know, there is an article that came out recently about Tupac and some of his friends. His friends are a group called Young Outcasts or Outlaws. Yeah, Young Outlaws. I think, and don't forgive me because I don't know, but I think the Young Outlaws was a group that actually included Tupac. And it's been rumored for a while that they smoked him. And I don't mean smoked him in the colloquial sense of the word killing him, but they literally smoked his ashes. It's been rumored for a while, but recently they were interviewed about it, and they actually addressed it. They say, yes, it's definitely true. In fact, let me see if I have the audio of this. I think I do. This is an interview that they did where they addressed whether or not they actually smoked the icon known as Tupac.
There's a rumor that after Tupac died, the outlaw smoked his ashes. Is that true?
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Now there's no joking that's happening here. This man is telling you the absolute
memorial
truth.
For him, you know, with his mom, his family, and shit. And we had hit the beach and you know, threw a lot of shit he liked in the beach. You know, some weed, some chicken wings, some, you know, he loved orange soda, all that kind of shit.
Chicken wings in the ocean.
Yeah, you know, Pac loved that kind of shit. So, you know, we was just giving him our own, you know, farewell. And that night, you know, I forgot which one of us came up with it. You know, they had his ashes and shit. And
Pac came up with that shit. If you listen to
so
Black
they're saying that Tupac came up with the idea of smoking his ashes, and they went ahead and actually did it. And I wonder whether or not smoking the ashes of your loved one is actually technically, it makes it a part of you, I think. I wonder whether or not that's frowned upon in the community of cremation, whether or not the people who make the papers that one would need in order to smoke a person would frown upon that. And I don't know how that's done. For instance, would you take the ashes of the person and then mix it into your marijuana and then smoke that? Again, as I've always saying, this is something that the audience is going to need to know about, because as you guys read about these things, you and yourself, you're going to want to know whether or not this is something that you can participate in. Because I can't tell you, I don't know. I've never held ashes, much less smoked any.
Thank you for calling Van Orsdale Family Funeral Chapel. This is Ken.
Hey, Ken, how are you today?
Fine, thanks.
Can you tell me whether or not you guys do cremation services there?
Yes, we do.
All right. After the cremation, and I apologize, I'm calling it because one of my friends is kind of at death's door, and we've already as a community decided that we're going to use the cremation, and that's the way he wants. So there are a couple of things that we're unsure about before we find a place that does it. How much of the ashes will we actually get back for our own use or to put in an urn? Will it be, you know, if he's a normal sized guy, about how much of ashes will we get back?
Here's the basic rule of thumb.
Okay.
Cremated remains are normally about 3.5 pounds.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Give or take.
Right.
Okay, now, as I mentioned, keep bone density in mind because it might be less and it might be more.
He's a pretty big guy.
Okay. The size of the individual while living really does not matter.
Oh, got it.
Because after everything is said and done, it goes down to bone density.
Okay, got it.
All right, so now, the issue we have like keepsake urns, which are small miniature urns that we could put 3 or 4 spoonfuls of cremated remains into those that could be given as keepsakes to individuals.
Okay.
And then the remainder could stay in a larger urn.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Now, if you're asking to equally separate all the cremated remains into 6 or 7 different urns and there's none left for a bigger urn, I can't guarantee that.
No, we can do that part. I just, again, I've never dealt with cremation. So if you're telling me that the average person is going to give me about 3 pounds, that answers my question. I know that I can do what I want to do with that.
Right.
Do you know, I don't know of anything, though, about how thick the ashes are. There is this thing that's going on with some members who are in organizations, street organizations, gangs, or close affiliations, where they take some of the ashes of the person and they actually roll it inside of a smoking type device and actually smoke it. Have you ever heard of this, and do you know whether or not it would burn very easily, or if there's anything about that may be difficult to ingest, or whether or not that's even something that's frowned upon?
To answer your original question, yes, I've heard of it.
Okay.
To answer the follow-up questions, there's no harm behind it.
Okay, got it.
Because at this point, you're talking about a cremation at 1,600, 1,700 degrees.
Right.
all biohazardous waste has already been killed or material.
Okay.
It's just ash. It's just nothing but if you had burned a box of paper.
Okay.
You kind of mashed it down and got it to its finest form. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah, because we wanted to, of course, have the urn on the side, but we wanted to get together and one last time enjoy our friend, and we were just, we were going to smoke him. And so we wanted to just make sure that I've only heard of people doing this a couple of times. I know Tupac's friend said that they did it, but I didn't know whether or not we could just roll it into some paper and go ahead and smoke it if we need to mix it in with something else.
All I'm going to tell you is that we didn't have this conversation.
Absolutely.
Because all I'm required to do is to tell you that I do the cremation. What you choose to do with the cremated remains after I hand them to you,
right,
that is strictly your business.
We didn't.
At the time the death occurs, that need not be mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. We have not discussed this. We won't discuss it. Lips are sealed.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's not only with me, but that would be with any crematory.
Absolutely. Okay. I appreciate your all of the help that I wink nudge didn't get. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, bye. So there we go. The smoking of the ashes clearly is not a bad thing. And for those of you who are out there listening who desire to smoke your relatives after they've gone, know that no harm is going to come to it. You can do this. All of the toxins are gone, and you can then make that person a part of you for the rest of your life because you have made him or her a part of your very DNA. You've smoked him. But you do have to smoke him in something, him or her in something. I wonder whether or not I could get my parents or relatives to smoke me if I were to die before the remaining relatives, if I could get them to just enjoy some of me. There is a rolling paper depot. I'm going to give them a call to see whether or not there's any paper that works better than others on this thing. I suspect that they're all going to be the same.
Thank you for calling RollingPaperDepot.com. This is Megan. How may I help you?
Hey, Megan. I was calling because someone had given me your number. Do you guys sell different type of rolling paper that has a thicker or denser frame to it than others? Something that's thicker?
Yes, actually, we carry a huge variety of papers. On our site, there's a quick search, and you can search by the make of the paper, like hemp, rice, flax.
Well, I actually am not really a smoker. I'm just going to be smoking for a special occasion, so I don't know what to get. And I really feel weird saying this, but there's this phenomenon that's going around now where people are actually smoking the ashes of their loved ones after cremation. And I don't know whether or not if I could I'm assuming I don't want to just go to the store and just get the cheap ones that they have there. We want to get something that is thick. Is there anything, I don't even know if this has been around long enough for there to be a recommended paper if you're smoking the ashes of your loved one. Is there?
No, I haven't heard of anything along those lines, no.
Okay.
What I would suggest that you check out is Club Gummed.
Okay.
Those are higher end, 1 1/4 inch square papers.
Okay.
Those, people love them, and they're thick. So that might be what you're looking for. They also come in ungummed if you would like that size, and that size is single wide. But club's pretty thick in my opinion, so that might be. I'm out of my element. I really don't know what to
I understand because that's a unique thing, and I'm assuming that the human ashes are they're made totally different than the ashes of what people are normally going to put in there. So that's the reason why I think I wanted to go with just something a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna try that out. I also see, which is something that I love, that you guys, some of your papers are vegan papers, which I think is just fantastic.
Yes, yeah.
And natural.
The organic.
Organic and vegan. Because I personally am a vegan, and I almost feel like I'm breaking my vegan code by smoking a human being. But if the paper is vegan, that at least brings me back to a balance, if that makes any sense.
That's cute. Yeah, that works.
All right. Well, I'm gonna look that up, and we'll order that close to the time of death because, of course, we're going to need to do it right away in order to pay the most respect. And I'll get that off of the website.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, we were able to determine that smoking your loved one is non-toxic. It doesn't harm anybody. we were also able to determine that if you use vegan and organic paper in order to roll them up with, then you're even a vegan can feel free and special about smoking his loved one. Smoking a human being could be a vegan act if it's done inside of vegan paper. I wonder whether or not the vegan paper would make the ashes vegan. Probably. I mean, it's something that I got to consider, and it's something that I would recommend that you consider as well. Just like the Sir Darryl radio experience.
The Sir Darryl radio experience.